guys, welcome to Sage's Garage. Welcome to episode 13. I am so excited to finally be filming a new episode for you guys and making a little bit more progress towards finished product of my Spitfire. As you'll know by now, I am doing a very exciting collaboration with Rusty Beauties. Elin is going to help me out with all of my engine parts and we are going to get this thing running. We're gonna get it back together and I'm super excited for that. Before I can bring all the parts to Elin, I need to clean them up a little bit because they are definitely dirty and they have some gunk on them, some oil, and there actually is a little bit of rust. So I will show you guys what all of the engine parts are looking like right now. But today's episode is basically just me cleaning things up and getting them ready to bring to Rusty Beauty's garage. Here is everything that we're working with. These are the things that I want to bring to the Rusty Beauty's garage. I have the block, I have the tappets, the rocker assembly, the cylinder head, the crankshaft, camshaft, and the connecting rods and pistons, including my lovely third one that looks perfect. Unfortunately, we do have some issues with a few of these items. So with the block, because it was sitting in a garage over the winter, it did actually get some surface rust. I am really hoping that I'm going to be able to use one of these products to get that off and some of these good scrubby brushes. Also the tappets, I know it's very important for them to stay in order. They were in order, but unfortunately they fell and they are no longer in order. So I understand that is going to be something that I probably have to replace or figure out what order they came in. It looks like there is some other just like surface rust and we're kind of just gonna have to see what is savable after this winter we had. My plan today is I just want to kind of clean everything up the best I can just so it's not horrible and gunky when I bring it to the Rusty Beauty's garage. So like I said, I want to try and get some of the surface rust off. I want to get these little bits off and there's just some gunk in here that I'd love to get off. So I'm really just gonna try and get in there gently and get off any of the gunk and rust that I can. As you can see, the cylinder head studs are still on the block and those I want to get off. So some of them should be fairly easy to remove, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But then all the ones that I can't get off are super rusted on. So I'm going to use this Rust Off Gold foaming rust releaser, and it's from Worth. I want to give a shout out to Steve Mooney from Worth who supplied this and then all the other Worth products that I have, and we're going to see how well they work. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all the ones that I can, and then I'm going to spray the rust off on all of the cylinder head studs that I can't remove, as well as all of the rust in the cylinders and any other parts that I see rust on. So as I'm spraying this rust off, it's bubbling up and I can actually see some of the rust falling off with the bubbles. So that is a good sign. I'm gonna let that sit, and while that does, I'm gonna go ahead and spray some rusty bits off the cylinder head. While that rust off is sitting and working its hopefully magic, I'm just going to lightly wipe off the camshaft and the crankshaft, and that's because they're not too dirty and gunky, and I actually like that there is a little bit of oil or residue on them because that's hopefully going to prevent them from rusting like all the other pieces did. So I'm not going to try and take the oil off. I'm basically just going to give them a gentle wipe down. Camshaft is all good. I'm just going to be really gentle wiping down the crankshaft because there are a few really sharp bits where the connecting rod hit and when all that went down. So I'm going to be very gentle because they are super sharp. I do want to mention we were not able to get off the woodruff key, so these shims are still on here. I'm hoping that's something that Elin can help me with, but that is just going to have to stay on for today. Chance that because of the burrs on this crankshaft, it is gonna have to be fully replaced, but we will wait and find out. All right, I think the crankshaft is looking all good. I'm going to move this to the side now. I'm gonna move back over to the cylinder head now. I have this little toothbrush that I'm gonna use to try and scrub a dub off some of this rust. I'm gonna try and use this metal scrape and I'm gonna try and scrape off some of the gasket sealant. Give it a little bit of a wipe down to see how it's looking. I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to scrape off the top. So I actually don't have any air tools, but once I go to the Rusty Beauty's garage, I will make sure that I get out any gunk or anything that's falling into any of the parts. Unfortunately, the weather is changing and it honestly might rain any second, which would not help me trying to get rust off of these parts. So I'm gonna try and go super quickly and get as much done as possible before the rain hits. I'm gonna go ahead and just try and blow out any of the debris that got in here while I was cleaning it out. I did also want to mention that I am not going to be cleaning the bottom of the cylinder head at all because the spark plugs are still in here, and I want Elin to be able to see, if you can tell by the coloration or anything, how they've been firing, and we can see if that gives us any answers. I think that the cylinder head is looking much better now, so I'm going to move this to the side and I'm going to try and work on the block as quickly as possible before the rain hits. I'm going to see if any of these cylinder head studs are loosened up just from sitting for a few minutes, and I don't think they are. Now, I did get some comments yelling at me for using vice grips, but unfortunately I literally have no other option right now. In the future, I'm sure I will get something, but right now, that's all I've got, so I'm going to try gently to use some vice grips just to see if I can loosen any of these up. Okay, this one has loosened up. I am so glad. This one started stripping, so I'm not gonna mess with that. This was the only other one that I was able to get loosened, so I'm just gonna have to leave the other ones in and see if Elin can help me get them out with any of his tools. But I do really want to try and scrape this and try and get in here and remove the rust before it rains, so I'm gonna move on to that really quickly. I do have this little abrasive pad that I'm gonna try and get in there, as well as a thick brush and this toothbrush. It does look like it's taking off some of the surfacey rust, but there is still a good bit in there, so I don't know. Or when I wipe it with my fingers, it comes off, so actually, if I wipe it, we might be good to go. I do know that these are probably going to need to be rebored anyways, but still, I didn't want any rust. That's actually pretty promising. I am so happy with how these are looking. Not perfect, but way, way better. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I am just going to scrape away this front bit. It's already looking so much better, but there is clearly some more work that needs to be done. So I do have an engine shampoo, and I really want to test that out to try and get off some of this really stuck on gunk. So I'm going to test that out once I wipe this down. I want this to be super clean so that I can paint it and that it looks really nice and I can show off my whole engine bay at car shows. I'm reading the instructions of the engine shampoo right now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some on the other side while I work on this side and let it soak, but I'm going to read what it says. It says, for best results, engine should be warm but not hot. We certainly don't have the problem of it being hot, and it's definitely not going to be warm. I'm gonna go ahead and let this engine shampoo soak for 5 to 10 minutes while I scrape off and deal with the other side. I just felt a couple raindrops, so we're gonna move super quick. First of all, the shampoo has been sitting on here for a while, so I'm just gonna really give it a good scrub, and I really wanna try and get off as much of this gunk as I can, and it's already looking way better, so I'm happy with that. And then I still have to work on the other side. A lot came off, so I'm just gonna try and give it a really nice wipe. That is looking so much better. I did end up scraping off this part of the gasket that was on here some more, and I used this little bit of sandpaper, this abrasive thing, and I just kind of tried to scrub it off a little bit, and I'm really happy with how it's looking. I'm just gonna go ahead and scrape off this side now, and then I'm gonna go in with the engine shampoo as well. I've really been working away. I did end up putting engine shampoo on all of the sides and really scrubbing them down. Now on the bottom, there's this gasket that I really want to get off. There's still so much more gunk on it. The engine has now been fully washed and rinsed, and now we're putting this 3-in-1 oil inside the cylinders just to make sure that they don't rust again before we can bring them to Elin's garage. So basically we're just applying it all inside of the cylinders, and I'm getting my dad's help because I had to move super quick because of the rain. Here is what it's looking like right now though. So here is the finished product of what the block is looking like right now. Also, we were able to get a couple more of the studs out, but those 4 are still stuck in there. And yeah, that's how it's looking. looking. I'm super happy we got all that cleaning done today. Now all the parts are ready to go to Rusty Beauties. I may do a couple things here and there before we go, but for the most part, that's what everything is gonna look like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!